Welcome to the Soccer Tavern, where we're discussing the history, philosophy, and culture of the beautiful game. My name is Dave, and in this video we're talking about the history of Wanderers Football Club. Pull up a seat and let's start the discussion. Wanderers FC is located in Upper Norwood, which is an area in South London. London is located in the southern central part of England in the United Kingdom. The men's side of the club play in the Surrey South Eastern Combination Junior Division 1, which is the 15th tier of the English pyramid. The women's side of the club play in the Greater London Women's Football League Division 3 South, which is the 10th tier of the league pyramid. Wanderers play their home matches at Virgo Fidelis Convent Senior School, which was built in 1848, and the club was able to make it their home ground after a crowdfunding campaign to renovate the playing fields. The club can comfortably accommodate about 100 fans if they ever get that many. Wanderers FC's origin dates back to the late 1850s. Brothers John and Charles Alcock, whose family had moved to London from the northeast and attended Harrow School, wanted to continue to play soccer after their family's move. With J. Pardo and brothers A. Thompson and W. J. Thompson, they got together and arranged regular matches under the name Forest Club as they were living in Leighton, that is in East London. The club's first match was a 15-a-side on March 15, 1859, when they played the original Crystal Palace Club and won 1-0. The club became well known, playing 16 games before being invited to attend the first meeting of the Football Association in 1863. Shortly after that meeting, the Alcocks had a falling out. Some say it was over the direction of the club, with John arguing that they should try to buy the land where they were playing home games and set down some roots, while Charles wanted the team to emulate the Butterflies cricket team, who traveled the country playing exhibition matches. Others say the source of the argument was John's controversial divorce. Either way, the new Wanderers team, which was Charles's club, played their first match on April 2, 1864, with A.M. Tebbett scoring the only goal in a 1-0 win over No Name's club from Kilburn. Forest played no more than 7 games in the 1864-1865 season, while Wanderers played 5, with 1 match scheduled between the clubs on January 7, 1864. After the 1864-1865 season, Forest ceased to exist and Wanderers began to flourish for a short time. Unfortunately, the original club folded in 1887. It lay dormant for more than a century before it was reformed in 2009 by Mark Wilson. Mark was playing a weekly 11-a-side game and took over the administration after the previous organizers stepped down. At the time, the club generated about £35 a week, which was donated to charity, and the players decided they wanted the challenge of an 11-a-side game. Mark searched for teams in Kennington where the team played, but the only name who kept coming up was Wanderers. He learned about the history of the club and got in touch with the great-granddaughter of the club's founder, Charles Alcock, and received her support for the project. Mark then contacted all of the clubs Wanderers had faced in the FA Cups. Oxford University were the most eager for a game, and so the club traveled up to Oxford to play their first 11 at Iffley Road Sports Ground. It was a terribly one-sided game, but everyone seemed to enjoy themselves and was already planning ahead for the next one. The newly reformed Wanderers played friendlies for a couple of seasons before their competitive league application was accepted for the 2011-2012 season. So the club doesn't have an official nickname. Wanderers is kind of a nickname in and of itself. Apparently, the original incarnation of the Wanderers in the 1800s were sometimes called the Rovers, although that might have been a bit confusing in matches against CLAPHAM Rovers. Wanderers FC in its current incarnation has recently started rolling out the World's Club as an identity due to the international nature of the club's players that they have had turn out for them over recent seasons. Clubs didn't wear badges until much later than when Wanderers first existed, so there isn't a crest from the 1800s for the club, but when it was reformed in 2009, the Wanderers crest looked something like this. The simple white lion came from the Harrow School crest, which is where the Alcock brothers graduated and first learned the game of soccer. The lion also represented the Football Association's 3 lions emblem, because the original Wanderers Club founded the Football Association in 1863 along with a number of other clubs. The 5-pointed star represents the club's 5 FA Cup wins. In 2011, Wanderers decided to run a badge design competition for its first season in a competitive league. Richard Debenham was the winning designer. He made the current iteration of the crest, with the badge being round and a hexagon in the center with sweeping arcs around it. This design was intended to incorporate both traditional and modern styles. I'd like to mention 8 important dates in the club's history in this section. In early 1859, the club was formed, with March 15th being the club's first official match. On October 26, 1863, Forest FC, which would later become Wanderers, was one of the founding 11 member clubs of the Football Association. On March 16, 1872, Wanderers defeated Royal Engineers 1-0 to win the first ever FA Cup. Wanderers defended their title 1 year later on March 29, 1873, when they defeated Oxford University 2-0 to win the second ever FA Cup. A few years later, on March 18, 1876, Wanderers defeated Old Etonians 3-0 to win their third FA Cup. On March 24, 1877, Wanderers beat Oxford University 2-0 again to win their fourth FA Cup. The following year, on March 23, 1878, the club beat Royal Engineers 3-1 to win its fifth and final FA Cup. The FA Cup victories in 3 consecutive years is still a record that has not been broken in England, although Blackburn Rovers tied that record of 3 straight FA Cups in the 1880s. We've already mentioned the club folding in 1887 and reforming in 2009, so the final important date I'd like to highlight is the 2011-2012 season, when Wanderers FC competed in the Surrey Southeastern Combination Junior Division 4. That was the first time in the club's entire history it had ever formally entered into a competitive league. I'd like to highlight 2 interesting players from the 1800s in this section. Cricketing legend W.G. Grace played 2 matches for Wanderers, one in 1871, which was a 1-0 win over the original Crystal Palace club, and one in 1872, which was a 1-1 draw with Clapham Rovers, in which he actually scored. The Doctor, which was Grace's nickname, would play over 870 first-class cricket matches and hit over 120 centuries, scored over 1,000 runs, and took 9 wickets in test matches for England. I don't know what any of that means, but he is widely regarded as one of England's greatest ever cricket players. The second player I'd like to mention here is Liberal Member of Parliament William Henry Gladstone, who was the son of the Prime Minister William Ewart Gladstone. Gladstone played 1 match for Wanderers in the 1870-1871 season and went on to play for Scotland in the first of 5 unofficial international fixtures that C.W. Alcock arranged between England and Scotland. Wanderers men have only technically had managers in the modern era. These have been Mark Wilson from 2009 to 2015, Jamie Harvey from 2015 to 2016, Jasper KAINA from 2016 to 2017, and Joseph POXON from 2017 to current. However, FA Cup winning player for Arsenal and manager of Wimbledon, Bobby Gould, took over for 1 match, the restaging of the 1872 FA Cup final at the Oval in 2014. On the women's side of things, the club has only had 2 managers, Kate VOGELSANG from 2015 to 2016 and Lewis Adams from 2016 to 2019. In competitive matches, these managers have had the following records. Mark Wilson managed for 98 games, had 59 wins, led the club to be runners-up in the Junior Division 4, and also won the Junior Division 3. He had a 60% win record. Jamie Harvey managed for 23 games, had 12 wins, and a 52% win record. Jasper KAINA had 29 games in charge, 12 wins, and a 41% win record. Joe POXON, current manager, has 71 games and counting, 26 wins, and a 37% win record. Bobby Gould only had that 1 game in charge and did not win, so he has a 0% win record. On the women's side, Kate VOGELSANG had 11 games in charge, 4 wins, and a 36% win record. Lewis Adams managed 85 matches, 10 wins, and only a 12% win record. Competitively, there are only 11 clubs that Wanderers men have faced more than 10 times in their history. The lack of recurring matches against the same opponent means the club doesn't really have rivals. Historically, Wanderers' close rivals were Clapham Rovers and Royal Engineers. In modern times, Royal Engineers play in a different league structure, and so the clubs rarely ever meet. Engineers developed the passing style whilst Wanderers promoted a dribbling style, so in the Victorian era it was a real clash of cultures. Clapham Rovers were geographically Wanderers' closest rivals, but both clubs folded around the same time. Nowadays, Clapham Rovers are a well-established Sunday League team. Again, due to being in different leagues, the two sides rarely ever play each other. South London women alienated their reserves in 2014, and the team became Wanderers women under the guidance of Kate Bob Vogelsang. Many of the defecting players have retired, but there's still a bit of a needle between the teams, so South London women would be Wanderers women's closest rival. The stats and records we're about to discuss are as of May 2021, which is when we are recording this video. Wanderers men's first 11 has been in the Surrey Southeastern Combination Junior Division 1 for about 10 years this season, which is level 15 of the English Pyramid if the Premier League is level 1. This was previously considered level 14, but the league often reorganizes as clubs join or leave, and in some cases as other leagues fold completely. That has meant a few seasons of chaos, not helped by a steady reduction in the number of men playing 11-a-side in the UK just in general. In the 2018-2019 season, Wanderers were relegated because two other teams folded. Wanderers women's first 11 took the brave decision to move from the London Women's Friendly League into the league pyramid for the 2016-2017 season. The women's 11 have had to play women's teams from numerous professional and semi-professional clubs, including Brentford, Millwall, Tooting and Mitcham, Sutton United, and Peckham Town. After the loss of several key personnel, the team decided to return to the renamed Clapham Women's Friendly League. The club has 5 major trophies, which are the 5 FA Cups previously mentioned. Additionally, the club won the Surrey Southeastern Combination Junior Division 3 in 2013 to 2014 and has won the FA Charter Standard Club of the Year award on 3 occasions, twice for the county in 2015 and 2020, and once for the region in 2015. Club founder Charles Alcock has 186 appearances, and club re-founder Mark Wilson has 250 appearances. In competitive fixtures only, Mark Wilson has 150 appearances, Jamie Harvey has 131, James Byrne has 129, and the most capped overseas player is Australian Adam Wood with 71. For the women's 11, Wales's Lowry Morris has 60 competitive appearances. Charlie Tracy had 57 goals in 81 games, putting him one ahead of C.W. Alcock's original record of 56 goals. Current player Ryan O'Neill has surpassed both of them, though, hitting 55 goals in 97 competitive appearances over 5 seasons and 74 goals in 124 games overall. On the women's side, Emma Landry scored 38 goals in only 22 games between 2018 and 2020 before returning to her native Canada. Adam Wood had 17 clean sheets, which is the club record by quite a distance. Closest to him are Kate Hayes, who is retired, who had 4, Turkish Cypriot Yusuf Özkan, who also had 4, and current number 1 from Zambia, Barak Ngoma, who has 8 and counting. And a few last interesting facts about the club. Over 50 different nationalities have been represented by players at Wanderers, which is why they've started using the hashtag #TheWorldsClub. Wanderers, formed in 1859, and Reigate Priory, formed in 1870, never played one another until 2018. There have been 5 matches between the clubs, with Wanderers winning 4 and drawing 1. In the 1873 FA Cup, Wanderers were allowed to go straight to the final without playing a game, as it was originally considered a Challenge Cup. Wanderers could also choose the date, time, and venue for the match. Wanderers' biggest ever competitive win was 12-1 against Great Brixton in the 2014-2015 season's Intermediate League Shield, just 3 months after beating Ewell Conquerors 11-1 in Junior Division 2. In the 2014-2015 season, Ivorian midfielder Wens Kua scored in 5 consecutive games. The next season, he did so in 4 consecutive games. Wanderers have had 2 sets of relatives play for them. Darren, Charlie, and Andy Tracy were all brothers from Blackpool, and Rob, John, Steve, and Ronnie Bowers were cousins and brothers. Every year, Wanderers tries to arrange an overseas tour. Obviously, the club hasn't been able to do this with COVID restrictions. Prior to the restrictions, the club was able to go to Romania, Bulgaria, Portugal, Poland, Czechia, Spain, and Hungary. Lastly, Wanderers has a partner club in Ghana called Wanderers FC Ghana. They run under 14s and under 16s teams in the Ningo Prampam district. So there you have it, a bit of history on Wanderers Football Club. Let's continue the discussion in the comment section below the video. Thanks for stopping by the Soccer Tavern. Hope to see you again soon. Cheers!